Raghunath Das Goswami. He was the son of Govardhan Madhu Madar. And Govardhan and his brother Hiranya, they owners of a vast tract of land. And in those days, if you were a landowner and you were cooperative with the king, you became like the local king of that land. You could make laws, you can tax, you could keep a percentage of it for yourself. So they had a huge property and so many people living there. They were what is like a billionaire today. And there was only one child in the whole joint family, and that was Raghunath. So he was the heir to everything. After Srila Haridas Thakur left Benapole and delivered that prostitute who actually tried to destroy his life completely, he forgave her. He gave her the Hare Krishna mantra. Just his compassion and his total attachment to the holy name and detachment from anything else transformed her heart. She became a great self-realized saint and lover of Krishna. Then he left there and went to a place called Chandpur, which is in the vicinity of Saptagram. Saptagram, there's 7 villages, and Raghunath Das was born and raised in one of the villages called Krishnapur. His family's guru was Yadunandan Acharya, and the priest was Balaram Acharya. Yadunandan was a disciple of Advaita Acharya, and he was very dear to Vasudev Dutt. When Haridas Thakur came to that area, Yadunandan and Balaram Acharya invited him to Chandpur to give a presentation on the glories of the holy name. And it was at that time that the small child, Raghunath, was brought with us by his guru, his parents, to meet Haridas Thakur. Now his mother and father and uncle, they were devotees, but they were quite materially affected as well. But just by that brief association with Haridas Thakur, seeing his level of compassion, the depths of his love, his profound attachment to chanting the names of Krishna, and the qualities it created in him, the child only wanted that. Although he had luxuries that we cannot even dream of, he didn't have brothers to fight with about who would get what. Everything was his. Just by being with Haridas Thakur, he got such a higher taste. He just wanted to chant Hare Krishna and have what Haridas had. Thakur Haridas had nothing. He would live in little caves, he would live in jungles, just wore a kopan. And from a caste perspective, he was considered by the larger society to be an untouchable. Why did Raghunath want to be like that? Because he was truly saragrahi, he was seeking the essence. Haridas Thakur, wherever he was going in those days, he was being persecuted, he was being misunderstood. Even there in Chandpur, he was blasphemed so terribly simply because of his birth and the things that he was teaching. And Raghunath would have been like a king. But even as a child, the compassion and the devotion of Haridas had such a transformative effect, he wanted that. And not too long after, Lord Chaitanya took sannyas. And after taking sannyas by the arrangement of Nityananda Prabhu, he was brought to Shantipur. And there Raghunath was brought to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He had such love and such devotion that when he went home, he simply wanted to leave everything and be with Lord Chaitanya. And he actually tried. He was young, and he would run away from home. And his parents would bring him back, and he'd go again, and they'd bring him back. Until finally his mother and father arranged 11 people to guard him 24 hours a day. And still he would do. And then after, on another visit, Lord Chaitanya came to Shantipur, and Raghunath went and explained his situation to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya said that, do not be like a monkey renunciate. He said, monkeys look very renounced. They don't wear clothes. They live in jungles. They just eat berries from trees. But in their hearts, they're totally absorbed in sense gratification. He said, you should remain home and perform your duties. And you should perform them really well in such a way that that externally you're doing everything that requires to be done. But internally you should always be remembering Krishna. And very soon Krishna will deliver you. So Raghunath returned home and he started performing his duties really, really excellently. And he appeared like he was really attached to doing it, although internally he wasn't. His mother and father were greatly relieved. They got him married, a very beautiful lady, and they started entrusting so many responsibilities for him. And there's so many beautiful stories of how expert Raghunath was at human dealings. But after some time, he started becoming more and more eager to be with Lord Chaitanya and all of his devotees in Puri. So again he started going, and again he started getting captured. But then he was told that Lord Nityananda Prabhu was in Panihati with his close associates. And with the permission of his parents, with some guards around him, he went to Panihati. And there he saw Lord Nityananda Prabhu on a little raised wooden platform, sitting under a banyan tree on the banks of the river Ganga, surrounded by his intimate associates. And Raghunath offered his dandavat pranams. He bowed down. And when that came to Nityananda Prabhu's notice, he called out, Raghunath, you are like a thief. You are coming and running away. He said, come here. And Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he said, I want you to feed all my devotees and everyone else in this area with chida and dahi, chipped rice and yogurt. And Raghunath became very jubilant, joyful. You see, we cannot approach Krishna without the grace of Guru. Nityananda Prabhu is the personification of Guru tattva. He is Balaram. And Nityananda Prabhu wanted to stress, he understood Raghunath Das Goswami's desire. So he understood that by the order of the Guru to serve the Vaishnavas, that's how we actually get entrance to Krishna. So Raghunath Das Goswami, with great enthusiasm, started buying chipped rice, and he served chipped rice and yogurt and condensed milk to all the devotees. And more people heard about it and started coming, and soon the banks of the river were covered with people. And when there was no more space in the banks of the river, even people were standing in the river. And Raghunath Das Goswami arranged everyone to have 2 little clay cups of chipped rice with condensed milk and chipped rice with yogurt. And Lord Nityananda Prabhu was so happy. Along with his associates, he felt like they were all cowherd boys sitting on the bank of the Yamuna river in Vrindavan. And Lord Nityananda Prabhu was so blissful to see. In his meditation, he called Lord Chaitanya to come. And in a transcendental, mystical form that only a few people could actually see with their eyes, Lord Chaitanya came. And Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were taking samples of chipped rice from everyone and eating it and feeding it to each other. And that evening, there was a beautiful kirtan. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in that divine form, danced with Lord Nityananda. The next day, Raghunath Das Goswami came before Nityananda Prabhu and begged him, please bless me, that I can be detached from all of these materialistic things and I can achieve loving devotional service in the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nityananda Prabhu, he asked all the devotees to bless Raghunath Das. He said, because you have served all the devotees and given them such satisfaction, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has personally come to receive your offerings. And actually, Lord Nityananda Prabhu gave Raghunath all the direct Mahaprasad remnants of Lord Chaitanya in himself. Because you have pleased the Lord and the devotees in this way, and Lord Chaitanya was so pleased, he came here and danced I give you this blessing, that very soon you will be delivered from all your material obstacles, and you will be in the direct association of Lord Chaitanya. He will put you under the care of his own personal secretary, Swarup Damodar Goswami. Receiving this mercy from Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Raghunath Das Goswami returned home. But he didn't sleep in his house. He slept in a courtyard outside of his house called the Durga Mandap. And he was always thinking how to escape. And by Lord Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, a special event took place where while it was still dark, before the sunrise, Yadunandan Acharya came to Raghunath where he was sleeping and said, the pujari of our temple has left his service. You are very expert. Please go and convince him to resume his service. I will take you. And Raghunath Das Goswami said, no, I know where it is. You can go home. I will go. And he was thinking, this is my chance. And he left. But he knew that the guards would be coming to find him. So he didn't take the main roads. He didn't even take the roads to the villages. He didn't even take a road. He just traveled through jungle and forest. Nobody does that. And he was really enthusiastic. The first day, he walked over 30 miles, completely immersed in the expectation of being with Lord Chaitanya in Puri and all of his devotees. And when at night, he came in this little jungle village to a person who kept some cows, and he slept in the cow shed, and that person gave him a little milk. In this way, I believe it took 12 days for him to go to Puri, which was really fast, and during which he only ate something 3 days. But his inconvenience, his hunger, his thirst, they were all considered insignificant to him because of his great anticipation, enthusiasm, and determination. And finally, when he did arrive in Sri Jagannath Puri Dham, he came to the place of Lord Chaitanya. And from a little distance, he bowed down, Dandavat Pranam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so happy to see him. He saw his condition, such a difficult travel, through jungles the whole time, very dangerous. And Lord Chaitanya said, it is only by Krishna's mercy that you have come here. You are living in a deep ditch where people go to respond to nature's calls. You are living in a ditch where people go to pass stool. And your father and uncle, even though they're actually nice devotees, they're like worms, still trying to enjoy that stool. But material attachment is so difficult to overcome, only possible by the mercy of Krishna. And you had everything anybody could possibly want to enjoy. At one time when Raghunath was living at home and sometimes disappearing, the mother said we should tie him with ropes. And the father said, Govardhan, he said, he already has the wealth of Indra. He has such beautiful wife. He has everything that is tying people to this world. But because he's been touched by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Chandra and has become a madman in love with him, what will ropes do? And it was on that first meeting that Lord Chaitanya, when he said, it is only by Krishna's mercy that one can be free from material attachments. There's no other way. Raghunath said, I don't know what is Krishna's mercy. I only know your mercy. You have saved me. And Lord Chaitanya called Swarup Damodar Goswami and said to Raghunath, I put you under his care, and instructed Swarup Damodar Goswami to protect him and teach him and engage him in service. I believe it was for the next 16 years that Raghunath Das Goswami was the servant of Lord Chaitanya. But interestingly, he was so humble. He would not even talk to Lord Chaitanya directly. If ever he had a question, he would ask Swarup Damodar Goswami. And Swarup Damodar Goswami would ask it on his behalf. One time, Swarup Damodar Goswami asked Lord Chaitanya, Raghunath is asking, what are his duties? And Lord Chaitanya turned to Raghunath, because he was standing right there. And he said, actually, Swarup Damodar Goswami knows better than me. He can answer all of your questions. But still, since you asked me, I will answer. You should not gossip. You should not be finding faults with others. Don't talk prajalpa, gramya katha, and don't listen to people talk that way. And in the renounced order of life, you should not eat luxuriously. You should not dress opulently. Always chant the names of Krishna in a mood of offering all respect to others and expecting no respect for yourself. And in this way meditate on Sri Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on thesacredconnect.com.